Reports are indicating that Lucasfilm is casting Ezra Bridger for live action on Disney+. So let's break this down. There is a lot to this, and it possibly foreshadows the future of the Star Wars MCU. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button like you're Ezra Bridger smashing stormtroopers. And let's get right into this video. Oh, and a quick reminder, tonight, June 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on our live streaming channel, the very first episode of the Nerd Card Showdown is going down. You better be there. Okay, so I know I'm a little bit late on this one. I think this came out last Friday, but things have been kind of crazy. But in either case, I'm super happy to talk about this. If you've been watching my coverage of the coming Star Wars MCU, which is kind of what I'm calling the new connective tissue, and the changed approach that Lucasfilm has with a lot of their content and characters, seems to be happening a lot on Disney+. But if you've been watching my coverage of this, you might have heard me say a couple of times, Ezra Bridger is actually my favorite Jedi. And I tell you that now because it's honestly going to be kind of hard for me not to just fanboy the F out in this video, but let's just, let's try to keep it chill for a second, and then I'm totally going to fanboy the F out. So this is coming from the Illuminati, who is pretty reputable. It's a pretty cool take, but there's this weird part in the article where they mention we got this covered, having talked about this months prior, and I just got to say, look, I'm not going to tell the Illuminati how to run their business, but a lot of people thought maybe you were sourcing We've Got This Covered, and I had to explain to a bunch of people that you weren't sourcing it. I don't know if maybe the author is friends with some people over at We've Got This Covered, and he wanted to just kind of throw some positivity their way, but I'll just say this, bro. Don't. We Got This Covered is not reputable, at all. If they get a scoop right, it's because they shotgun a bajillion scoops a day. Of course, some of them are bound to be correct. It does not mean they have sources. It does not mean they're accurate. And you definitely shouldn't be putting that on your website or in your articles if you want to remain reputable. All right, let me read right from the article a little bit, then we'll talk about what it means. Okay, it says here, Disney and Lucasfilm have indeed begun casting search for the live-action incarnation of Ezra Bridger, who first appeared on Star Wars Rebels. He will soon debut on Disney+, although it is still unclear on which show. There were concerns and speculation about where Lucasfilm is taking Star Wars as a franchise after the release of Rise of Skywalker. While there is still a cloud of mystery surrounding the theatrical side, the future of Star Wars on Disney Plus continues to expand in new and fascinating ways. There has been an onslaught of information leaking out of Lucasfilm in recent weeks, as there have been multiple unconfirmed reports of developing animation sequel series to Star Wars Rebels, along with rumblings of a live-action series centered around Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano. Apparently, the casting search has begun in earnest behind the scenes for a new potential face of the expanding Star Wars universe. After our source tipped us off on the following report, I did a quick internet search to find that We Got This Covered had actually accurately reported on the dawn of the casting back in March. Their reporting seems to be on point, but we have been able to find out new specifics on the casting search since the time. The lead of Star Wars Rebels, Ezra Bridger, is indeed coming to live action. The ongoing casting search is focused on finding a male between the ages of 30 and 40. They are looking for an actor of color, specifically performers of Asian descent. However, they are open to Indian, Latino, or Middle Eastern actors as well. Additionally, we know that Ezra Bridger casting is for a Disney Plus debut, while we were assured that it was not for The Mandalorian specifically. But that's literally the extent of the information we were able to scratch together on the burgeoning casting search for Ezra Bridger. So it's absolutely up in the air if they are looking for an unknown actor or a name actor who would be enticing balance to the Star Wars power of Rosario Dawson. Okay, so I just need to say it again. Would have left We've Got This Covered completely out of the article. Really don't know what's going on there. Seems a little weird. Now, they're saying that they have sources that are telling them this. That's awesome. But we're going to treat this whole thing as kind of with a grain of salt, right? It's rumored at this point. But I will say this. It was interesting to me that when Grace Randolph talked about the story of Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka Tano, she had actually mentioned Ezra Bridger specifically, that Ezra Bridger was also appearing in The Mandalorian in live action. And I have not heard anybody else talking about that, although there's been a lot of buzz around different people coming into the show, like Sabine Wren, like Hera Syndulla, like Rex, like Boba Fett, like Bo-Katan. A lot of interesting stuff out there, but I haven't heard much about Ezra Bridger. Now, what I'm starting to pull together from what other people are saying and then from what I'm hearing from some people behind the scenes, I strongly believe that this is all going to have to do with that Ahsoka Tano show. I think the Ahsoka show is going to be sort of a sequel to the Star Wars Rebels sequel series, which will focus on the search for Ezra Bridger. Now, you guys know I've been talking a lot about this Rebels sequel show. I had Noah and Corey from Kessel Run Transmissions on our show and did a long interview with them. I'll put it up here so you can check it out if you have not. It was a great interview, very enlightening about their scoop that yes, indeed, there is a Rebels sequel animated show coming out for Disney+. Now, right now, everything is in flux because of the economic shutdown. We don't know when all of this stuff will happen, so there is a chance we won't get the Rebels sequel series starting at the end of 2020. It might be, next year by the time that happens. But regardless, what it seems like they are doing, because again, this is that Star Wars MCU. They want these things to connect together. They want you to be invested. They're going to use The Mandalorian Season 2 as a jumping off point for a lot of these different things because it's the most popular thing they have going on right now. So it makes complete sense to me. But what I am hearing is that they will set up the Rebels sequel series in Mandalorian Season 2. Noah and Corey are reporting that the Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Sabine Wren, that whole episode, one episode in Mando 2, guys. One episode, and then we'll watch that journey where they go to try to find Ezra Bridger in a couple of different seasons during the Rebels sequel series. I imagine it'll be 4 seasons, but it could be shorter. It could just be a couple of seasons. But I imagine that is what is going on there. And what we think is going to happen is they will find Ezra Bridger, but there'll be some crazy other threat in the unknown regions, maybe something to do with the Chiss, and you will see Ahsoka and a lot of the characters from Rebels dealing with that threat. But what I think is so interesting is that this could actually reveal a much larger plan for the future of the Star Wars MCU. And what I mean is, it really seems like whatever's going on with Ezra and whatever happened to Ahsoka to get her to be Ahsoka the White, and whatever this crazy mission is that they have to go get Ezra for, it will have a big impact on what the story is moving forward. And what's crazy about this is a couple of weeks back when executive producer Ryan H. and executive producer Al Schuler came on the morning stream over on our live streaming channel, we had a great conversation about this. And I believe it was Al who literally put forward the idea that what if the next big place that they tell stories in is after episode 9 with Ahsoka, with Ezra Bridger, with some of these other characters, as they, and not Rey, actually go out there and sort of rebuild the Jedi Order or create a new Jedi Order or something to that effect. And I think the reason that's so interesting is because Ahsoka is not a Jedi. She saw the hypocrisy in the Jedi. She saw the hypocrisy of Yoda's Jedi, of Mace Windu's Jedi, the Jedi in the prequel era. Okay? She's also a force for good, and she knows what's right, but it's sort of this gray morality. And so the question becomes, is Ahsoka, with the help of Ezra, going to establish a new Jedi Order that is possibly more gray in reality, the gray Jedi? That's what a lot of people thought was going to happen with Ben Solo and with Rey. That's where we thought things were going with them. Maybe that will actually be picked up on with Ezra and with Ahsoka. Either way, I think it's a fascinating opportunity because these are Jedi that were sort of excluded from the Skywalker saga in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously Ahsoka was in it, and actually Ezra was too, when Vader was there. But after Vader is destroyed, they're kind of out of it. Now, Ahsoka helps out in episode 9 by giving some power to Rey. She's somehow connected to that. Dave Filoni has made mention that she's not dead just because of the voice in episode 9. Okay, so if Rey is off the table, if she's doing something on Tatooine, or she just wants to stay isolated from everything, then maybe the future of the Jedi Order, of Star Wars stories, and of the big plot, which really has to be dark side versus light side, maybe it doesn't involve Rey. Maybe it involves Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do you like Ezra Bridger so much, right? Why is Ezra Bridger your favorite Jedi? Well, in a lot of ways, Ezra reminds me of Anakin quite a bit. He's incredibly strong. He's gifted as all get out, and he is made to have a Jedi Master in Kanan who was a Padawan during Order 66 and never fully becomes a Jedi himself. And it's interesting because I've actually heard Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer talk about how Kanan's master was really the Grand Inquisitor, a bad guy. And it's this really just broken relationship with these Jedi, and yet Kanan is trying to do his best. But Ezra is incredibly gifted. He also has this really special connection with animals that allows him to like communicate with animals, work with animals. He has this really interesting force ability that we haven't really seen with other Jedi, which I find very interesting and unique. But basically, guys, Ezra Bridger is just a powerful Jedi. He's able to open up a Sith temple. He's able to open up a holocron, both Jedi and Sith. He's able to open up the portal on the Jedi Temple in Lothal by himself to enter the world between worlds. This is an incredibly gifted, powerful individual. He has some purpose with the cosmic force. And so the whole idea of them searching for Ezra is because Ezra has a part to play. Ezra has something to do. He has a destiny. He has a legacy. It is important that Ahsoka finds him, okay? So there's something to that, and I think in a lot of ways, they can sort of make that the big crux of whatever the overarching good versus evil story is moving forward with the Star Wars MCU on Disney+. Ezra Bridger is the new Anakin of what the Star Wars MCU will do moving forward. That's what I believe, and a little bit of that is just because I'm a big Ezra fanboy, but I mean, it makes sense to me, so I want to know what you guys think about all of that. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And now let's shout out Holy Mess Invader. Yes, indeed, it is Mark Guggenheim that is a comic book writer who is writing the script for Sony's Jackpot movie. So shout out to you, Holy Mess Invader. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, on what holiday was Ezra Bridger born? This is a crazy thing in Star Wars canon. Ezra Bridger was actually born during a galaxy-wide holiday. What is that holiday? Answer that question in the comment section below. If you absolutely need more nerdy content in your life, click or tap over there to watch some more of our videos, or come on by our live streaming channel where we stream about nerdy stuff all the time. Like this video if you liked it, and if you want to take your support to the next level and join the list of amazing people you see below, check out our Patreon for some behind-the-scenes content. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.